As I tear out the pages that I got in these books, to find just some words, to get some reward, and I'd show you all the photographs that I ever got took, and I'd pay old 45s, now mean nothing to me. And you're a real grown kid, maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. I'll do what I should have did. Now I stood on your shadow, and I've watched it grow, and it's shaking and it's thrilling me. And let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know about all your 45s and the paperback rooms, and it's scattered on the photographs of summers and suns. And you're a real grown kid, maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. I do what I should have did. You're a real young kid. Trying and I pray, hoped and I saved and I put away those souvenirs. Trying and I pray, hoped and I saved and I put away those souvenirs. You're a real grown kid, maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. Maybe not, baby. I'll do what I should have did. You're a real young kid.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's Friday night. Guess who's back? The one and only Claire Core. Welcome back.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the SJJ show.
Yes, it's become a bit of a staple now. We've done it a few weeks on the trial, haven't we? Friday night with Core here. Friday night takeaway.
And sometimes Saturdays,
Sometimes Saturdays, yeah.
and we have such a lot to say to each other, to our great surprise.
Indeed. So look, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, which not many people are right now, I don't know where everybody is. Get yourselves in here. What's wrong? Although you can't hear me because you're not here. But anyway, I'm sure people will arrive soon.
I
Yeah,
hope
so
they're
give the
not
stream a-
boycotting us.
Why would they ever do that, Claire Core?
We don't know.
Anyway, give the stream a thumbs up if you're listening. That would really help. I'd appreciate it. As much as you think I've become a grifter, I can't monetize these streams whenever I use that intro, by the way, because they don't allow the stream to be monetized. So it's not like I'm going to earn my 3 pence from this one.
Why? I don't understand the using of the intro.
So the
preventing you from
music,
being monetized.
the music label that owns the rights to the song prevents you from monetizing the video. Basically, they'll let you use the music, but they won't let you monetize it, which is fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. So super chats just won't. There
Oh
won't
no,
be the
super
option.
chats come through. No, I'm just talking about the 1 or 2 pennies of ad revenue that I'm now eligible for.
Oh, you won't get. Okay. But you can still
Yeah,
get
yeah.
your super chats or super stickers. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I guess if you didn't use it anymore, then you might be all right. I mean, is it essential for you to use that song as the intro? Why do you like it so much? And who is it by? I mean, I did once know the answer to those questions, but I've
The
forgotten
band
the
is
name of
Deacon Blue.
it.
Deacon Blue. I think they're an 80s band. I don't know anything about them.
Mhm.
It's just a song that I put together a montage of my clips from one time. So
They're from
I use it when there's
Glasgow,
nothing else.
Deacon Blue are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know nothing about them whatsoever.
But you like the song for some reason.
Yeah, it seemed appropriate at the time. It seemed okay at the time. So, it was a good song. It's a decent intro. It showed off that year that I'd done all that stuff. Was that 2022? I can't remember.
Hmm.
Somewhat well. It's just a collection of stuff and that. So, but yeah, look, we need a new one at some point. But
Break on through
look,
to the other side by the doors. Do you know that one?
what?
Do you like the Doors? Maybe you don't. Do you like?
Break on through to the other side. Break on through. Break on through. That one.
Yeah,
You like? Is that your favorite song?
one of my favorites. I mean, I do quite like a few Doors songs. I mean, I think the Doors is sort of old enough to be new again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What was his name?
Jim Morrison, played
Are
by
you one of
Val
these?
Kilmer,
Are
but I
you one
didn't
of
see
these
the
women?
movie.
Are you one of these women who is obsessed with him?
No.
Okay. You get this category of women who that is like their ideal man for whatever reason. They post Jim Morrison, particularly that picture of him with his bare torso from, I guess, an album cover or something,
Mhm.
and the long hair.
Well, I suppose he's quite charismatic.
Well, again, it's before my time. I can't say although I've heard the songs, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have seen a video with him singing or anything. I don't know anything about it.
What about the song called? What you just played?
Real Gone Kid, I believe.
Okay. And you think that represents you in some way? A real gone kid. Okay. Okay.
I
No,
don't
no.
know. I don't know what. I don't even know what the phrase means, Claire. It just. I don't even know why I chose it at the time, but like, it's obviously a story about a dude, so I just picked it.
Okay. I mean, I kind of suffer
Let's
from
find
a
out.
lyric blindness. It's like I don't even know what the words even say. It's like what word is it? So I actually don't know what the song is about, and I sort of feel I should, after listening to you play it and talk about it.
Okay, so the lyrics are a tribute. So, Real Gone Kid was written. It's a song about a performance that the Deacon Blue guy saw of ex-Lone Justice singer Maria McKee during a time when Deacon Blue and Lone Justice toured together. The lyrics are a tribute to McKee, with the narrator using the term Real Gone Kid as a designation for craziness, referring to McKee's wild onstage performance style.
Okay.
But it actually turns out it's a song about a woman. So I guess I didn't pick adequately at the time. But anyway, look, it just is what it was. I was looking for a 3-minute song.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
So,
it's a title. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
maybe the title isn't that, the actual words of the song don't represent what you're trying to convey. And
Mm.
this makes me think of Alison Shablo, who got into trouble over her songs. And what I've been trying to tell her is that, look, if you have a political message, don't put it in a song, because people don't listen carefully to the words of the song, and they won't get it, or what they get is a chorus, which might be quite misleading in terms of
Did
what is being conveyed.
did somebody mention
Alison Chasblas, the nuts, she gets out.
Again, I should have known. I might mention her name again just to run that thing.
Chasblas? Alison Chasblas. And that's it. And that's it. Oh boy. So look, people are finding their way here, which is nice.
Yes.
So look, there's a few things to talk about tonight. I did message Claire about something I want to talk about tonight, something that happened to me this week. We'll get to that, Claire, okay?
We'll wait
Before that,
patiently for when you're ready.
yeah. Judas, you don't have to donate, dude. Just being here is enough. Same for everybody. This is just Claire and I's chill out show. Enjoy it, everybody. Sit back, relax. Don't drink alcohol and don't do drugs, because those are degenerate. But relax. Yeah. So look, we'll get to what happened to me this week and what I said I wanted to talk about with Claire. But before then, so I wanted to mention that this is a tricky one to bring up, okay, before we start. But I did want to give people a heads up that so you know that Thomas did some streams about AA, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Well, and there's a Telegram group that people hang out in. That's just, I don't know, people who watch Thomas's streams. Well, he popped into that Telegram group the other day, yesterday or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like very, very, what's the wording? Aggressive. Stating that he's going to go to the authorities. He's not happy. Or you can all be Thomas's witnesses in court. Something. And it all stems from, I suppose, Thomas's bringing up of, from reading between the lines, bringing up of AA's kid. And something that I talked about it at the time, that was probably crossing a line too far, even though I've always said, look, Thomas is it's humor, okay? It might be in poor taste, but it's humor. Well, anyway, he's declared he's not happy about it. He intends to make a video about this or go to the authorities about it. So there is some concern about what that means for Thomas. I'm not concerned about myself, because from the whole way along, I mean, I don't like to disavow anything, but I mean, I did distance myself from any of that. It was nothing to do with me. The fact that he was doing that. I mean, I was always so careful as to, I don't think ever, or maybe I just occasionally forgot, but almost never even mention him by his real name after the last ding dong that I had with him. So I would just recommend to people just to drop it and leave him be, unfortunately, because he is litigious. He's now made it clear he's not happy, but it looks like he's going to drop some kind of video about this. Expect it to be bad. Expect it to make it out to be something that it never was. Like, here's the thing, the truth of the matter is, it's not a cope and it's not an excuse to say, look, Thomas is a performance artist and it's comedy, because that is actually the truth. Now, like I say, it might be in poor taste, but that's all it ever was. So, whatever he's going to do anyway, it's going to happen, and so be it. Okay, so I just thought I'd let people know about that.
Well, it'll be interesting. That will produce more content for us. Because, I mean, obviously,
Well,
yeah, well, you know, it's good for us, isn't it?
well, not necessarily, because I mean, look, here's the thing. As much as I like Thomas, I think he's funny. I like him based upon all his old past content. Okay, I never encouraged him to come back and like do some kind of vengeance comedy at AA. Okay, in fact, I discouraged it. I actively discouraged it at the time. I told him at some point in that Telegram group, look, dude, he's litigious, and he'll just make trouble for you. But
Yeah. So Thomas can't stop himself. So we'll just have to let things run their course, because Thomas can't stop himself. And well, maybe if Thomas is sued, he might win, and we'll have more to talk about.
You mean Thomas might?
Oh, yeah. Or he
I
might
mean,
just, apologize, right? Because he's such a fucking coward. He might apologize and say sorry. We'll see. Or you say, "Ooh, I'm mentally ill. Don't take anything I say seriously. I'm a bit mad, He's
No,
a
look,
man of straw. I mean,
I
if he had...
maintain all the way along, it's comedy, okay? That's how I've always taken it. I'm absolutely convinced of that. If I had, like I say, it may be in poor taste, but you're allowed to laugh at comedy that's in poor taste, okay? So, and that's all anybody's pretty much ever done. Yeah, Life Crow's mentioning in the chat that there is a comment thread underneath Wyvern the Terrible, who was making videos about AA2. AA went in there under his latest video, so you might want to go and look at that. It's him lashing out and threatening people, basically. But look, I want nothing to do. It should be clear from my content. Like, it should be clear from the fact that I dropped doing anything about him like a stone, like 10 months ago. Okay, I just dropped it. Never touched him again. Yes, it comes up because he's the fucking leader of like the dissident right in the UK. He's like the leader. So it's impossible never not to just mention him in passing.
Why is he the fucking leader of the dissident right? What great things has he said that's so clever and important? I mean, nobody knows, nobody cares, but he's still a leader of the dissident right.
This isn't an extreme intent to now go into about AA, but look, various people have their problems with him. They've been making content about him. It was a curveball thrown when Thomas came back, and I had no idea that he was going to come back and like make 4 or 5 videos all about AA in between me interviewing him. It just happened to be the case. It was nothing to do with me. And throughout it all, I understood what kind of a guy he is. And so I, like from that interaction that I had with him, where I was taken aback in the initial case that, no, he didn't find it funny what I'd been doing all the time, which was kind of just friendly banter. So I dropped him like a stone about 10 months ago. Haven't touched his content ever since. Never mind the fact I'd only ever talked about the stuff that he'd ever publicly presented on stream in his character. I always played by the rules. I mean, I am so like above board that I only ever spoke about him in terms of calling him by the name academic agent, never using his real name. And the one time that I made the mistake of believing I could use his photograph that he'd authorized the Traditional Britain group to publish, then I removed those too. But yeah, I'm just
You
letting you
could have stuck
know.
to your guns. You could have stuck to your guns.
I know I could have done. I was well within my rights to, but
Hmm.
at the first instance that I became aware he wasn't happy, I took them down. So you might say you're a coward for doing that. I mean, the problem was up until that point, I had somewhat thought he was playing along and just like in a weird way enjoying the banter.
So,
But
the long and
10
short of
months
it
ago
is
was a
that,
rude awakening. The long and
yes,
short of it is, at some point, he's going to create a video or do some kind of stream, and he's probably going to present the things that the jokes that Thomas did about him in the worst possible light. It's going to look bad, and he's going to, I don't know, rope other people in, perhaps even me, because like the concern that I had all along was that he would think that I was somehow behind it all. I was putting Thomas up to it, just due to the timing, basically. Like I said, I brought Thomas back onto the internet, which was just a meme. I just made that up. I just took credit for it.
well, you're not his keeper.
I'm not his keeper. I'm not responsible for him.
Unless he
and
is
it-
literally mentally subnormal and is not responsible for anything he says or does. So we'll see what line Thomas is going to take on that. Ooh, I'm a bit silly. I'm a bit mad. Leave me alone. Don't hurt me. If he's going to take that line, then fine. I mean, let him take that line. Anyway, I mean, we'll just see what British nationalists are made of, right?
well, anyway, so that's going to
Anyway,
happen.
he's gone. Yes. So, this sort of thing, does go on in Singapore. Routinely, political expression
What sort of
is
thing?
people just get sued for defamation.
From my understanding, it's pretty hard in the UK. Don't you have to prove damages?
Yes. I mean, they've changed the laws, and also it's very expensive. But you get your solicitor to write a strong letter, and a lot of people back down. I mean, I know people who back down, and they haven't even done anything wrong, and they still back down. That's
Yeah.
probably because they think they might have done something wrong. And also, it's usually something sort of stupid and petty and nothing to do with politics. And, they just
Yeah.
had a spat and they just decided to, but, it's never anything about a political principle. I mean, TBR is just basically saying, he's fat, he's, he sells shit courses that aren't worth the money that he charges for,
Well,
and that's it. I mean, he won't say anything more about that.
look, I've let you know what's happening. So
Mhm.
that's probably going to drop. Like I say, it's going to look bad. All his fans are going to react in the worst possible way to it, and I've no doubt it's going to be presented, well, in the worst possible light from his position. Anybody who's here should know, like, the story that Thomas is a comedian. He does that stuff. Yes, you could say it went a bit too far, and it was in poor taste, and he got those videos struck down. At the end of the day, that would normally be the end of it, but I don't know. So I just recommend everybody just to drop talking about him. He doesn't matter. as I did 10 months ago, and that will be my policy going forward. Yes, his name will come up, okay, but just like I haven't made a stream about him this year, well, not even this year, not 20, since like February last year, there won't be any more going forward. Yeah, just so anyway, that is that. Basically, nothing more to say on that issue. It is what it is. The other thing, other bit of news. By the way, seeing as there's more people here now, if you give the stream a thumbs up, we'd appreciate it. Next up, before we talk about what happened to me this week, Claire, are you eating, by the way, again? Are we interrupting you?
I don't know if I should mute myself or not, but it just makes
No,
it
it's
easy for me
fine.
to.
It's fine.
I'm
What is it,
really finished.
noodles?
No, it's potato wedges with stuff on it. Like
With stuff on it.
yes, like vegetables and fish and spices.
Skinned
veg-
puppies and
I don't think it's fish really. If there's any
no.
meat in it,
Kung
spring
Pao. That's right.
onions and chili and aubergine.
Yeah. Next up then, anyway, look, moving on quickly. Just before we came live, I saw that this had happened. Okay. So everybody knows Coach Red Pill, Gonzalo Lira. The rumours are, if you've not heard, in the last hour, he has actually died in a Ukrainian jail cell. I made some
Again?
videos. Again, what do you mean again?
There was some rumor that he was already dead a while
Ah,
back,
yeah.
wasn't it?
That was when I did my videos on him.
hmm
So that was, when was that? The summer of 2021, 2022. Yeah, they invaded February 2022, right? Yeah. So I did my videos on him around April or May. But here, Gonzalo Lira's reportedly died in a Ukrainian prison. Tucker Carlson broke the news, saying Gonzalo Lira Sr., his dad, says his son has died at 55 in a Ukrainian prison, where he's being held for the crime of criticizing the Zelensky and Biden governments. Gonzalo Lira was an American citizen, blah, 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 but the Biden administration, blah, blah, blah. We have this here. Let's go and just take a quick look. Oops.
Year and a half, the American media and political establishment spent, what's fair to say, a disproportionate amount of time talking about Ukraine and America's obligation to support Ukraine and pay for Ukraine's military and its government, and of course support it morally, and above all to hate Russia. And most Americans obeyed. Politicians wore Ukrainian flags on their lapels. American citizens put Ukrainian flags on their mailboxes and on their bumper stickers. But one thing most Americans didn't get a lot of was actual news from Ukraine. What was it like to live there? What was happening inside that country that we were supporting and paying for? Well, you couldn't really know because there's virtually no coverage of it. But on
I assume this is what he's getting at here. Come on, Tucker.
social media, there were a few people reporting in what seemed like a pretty honest way from within Ukraine. And one of them was an American citizen called Gonzalo Lira. He lived in Ukraine for quite some time, and he posted, particularly on Twitter, his accounts of what life was like there and his view of how the war was going. And so for people who are interested in what was happening, he was worth watching. Here's one of his reports.
The Russian economy is sailing on, sailing on. European economy, people are starting to die of hypothermia in the UK because they don't have access to the cheap energy of Russia from before. See? And so everything that the West has thrown at the Russians has boomeranged right back at them. And so now they're panicking and they're trying to figure out a way out of this situation. And they figured that if they throw more tanks, it'll help. It won't help. The Ukrainians, rather, they had like something like 2,000 tanks before the start of this conflict. You think a couple of hundred now is going to help? I mean, why are they asking them? Because those 2,000 maybe
Okay, coach.
in the Euro or win
Come
stuff like
on.
that.
He made a couple of points. One, Russia is not losing the war.
Anyway, look, I don't know if this is the thing. Anyway, he's dead apparently. He's dead apparently. So
Yes, I suppose Carlson reporting it does lend credence to that.
yeah. So, where is it? So, if we look at this, his father said, "I cannot accept the way my son has died. He was tortured, extorted, and incommunicado for 8 months and 11 days, and the US Embassy did nothing to help my son. The responsibility of this tragedy is the dictator Zelensky, with the concurrence of a senile American President Joe Biden." So, yeah, he's died in a Ukrainian jail, apparently. So that's the news there. For the record, look, here's the thing. It's not nice to speak ill of the dead, but Coach Red Pill brought it all on him fucking self. He was an absolute idiot for staying in Ukraine and then in time of war and basically shilling for the Russians. Nobody understands what fuck he was doing, staying in Ukraine and then basically every single day saying the Russians are getting close, they're almost here, and the Zelensky regime are terrorists and all this kind of stuff. I disagree with, for the record, but he's an absolute fool. He had the chance. He should have fled to Russia and he'd have been able to do exactly what he wanted forever. Or even come back to the United States and he'd have been able to carry on doing all that. But not in Ukraine, not in a country during a time of war. Whatever you might think of the Ukrainians, I don't know to what extent you can criticize them for stopping people who are dissenters in a time of war, basically. You know, and your existential life is on the line. But he had it coming to him and it happened, basically.
Perhaps he thought that being an American counted for something in the Ukraine. Clearly it doesn't.
Probably so.
He thought he could rely on American privilege, and there was none of that coming. Because Americans have been lowered in status and have lowered themselves in status by their behavior, or putting up with lots of stuff.
Shamu says he wanted to go out as a political martyr. It's the only thing that makes sense.
And he will. He has. Maybe you'll go down as the good American who didn't agree with American foreign policy. A martyr.
Well, I think he'll just go down as a fool, actually. As a fool who... No matter what, he was retarded for staying in Ukraine. Whatever you might think of his opinions, he's absolutely retarded to do it.
Well, Shamu says he wanted to go out as a political martyr, and well, I guess if you want to speak well of Coach Red Pill, that's a way of looking at it.
Yeah, I don't wish to be honest. Look, he was a fun character back in the days of Bloodsports. Okay, he was a character back then. I made when the Ukraine thing kicked off, he was like a lolcow character that linked this like pocket of the internet with real life events that was going on. It was bizarre to see that Coach Red Pill was mixed up in a literal war that was happening. And so I made some videos about it at the time. We're going to cringe. Well, I'm going to cringe excessively if we look at any of them. I was proud of these videos at the time. Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, the Ukraine saga.
He's a
Who take a
Chilean.
quick look? Who take a quick look at my video back then? This is very cringe. But let's take a look. You're not going to recognize me, by the way. My balls have dropped since recording these videos.
What is going on, everybody?
Please don't go back and watch my old content. But here it is. Wow.
What is going on, everybody? The Coach Red Pill saga has taken another turn, guys, okay? Coach Red Pill was on Black Pigeon Speaks this morning. Here is a quick rundown of the Coach Red Pill saga. Coach Red Pill, aka Gonzo Lira, found himself...
But he was just taking a shit in the background. I noticed that. That's how I was doing this.
...in Kiev, Ukraine. One day before the war started. One day before Vladimir Putin invaded the country. He booked into a hotel for 7 days, guys. And from that hotel room, and occasionally from on the sidewalk there, Coach Red Pill began to blog to the world and vlog to the world on his Telegram and on video appearances live with independent news organisation, the Duran, based out of London and Cyprus. Coach Red Pill was able to give his perspective of the situation on the ground.
For those of you who don't know, I'm in Kiev, Ukraine. I'm staying at the Premier Palace Hotel, right in the middle of Kiev, right in the middle of the Russian invasion, man. Woo! It's pretty damn funny.
Coach Red Pill's mental well-being began to deteriorate during the first full curfew over the weekend after the initial invasion of Ukraine. The government there enforced a curfew from the Friday till the Monday.
Anyway,
And
look,
Coach Red Pill was
God forbid, sorry. This was my video back in the day. That was a blast from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, he's gone. He's dead anyway. Coach is gone. Coach is a goner, it looks like.
You don't believe
Theo
in
Scott.
martyrdom, do you?
Well, when you say martyrdom, you never know if you're going to become a martyr.
Well, you can intentionally be a martyr.
No, a martyr is the legacy that you leave, really, isn't it? Doesn't mean it. You
No,
can
it
be a
just means
martyr
you
and
died for
nobody
your
cares.
principles,
Really?
whatever they are.
HJJ watching his old videos with us. How meta, yeah. At some point, I'm going to delete them. Jaywalker asks, these takeaway streams are great. I wouldn't go that far, but do you, Claire, think that you, Claire, should have therapy to prevent imploding due to the odd feeling of being somewhat successful? And you do have fun in this area. You have a history
do
of
I?
You have a history of self-sabotage.
For example,
For example, when you created a stream, a guest stream, back in the day, 4 years ago or something, summer of 2018, now 19, and you would regularly attract 50 or 60 or more live viewers, something getting close to what we're getting close towards recreating right here.
Luke had
then
lots of
you-
viewers, and then
Then you threw it all away.
Well, Luke had a lot of viewers, and then they all kind of went away due to suppression by the YouTube algorithms, you think? I mean, I actually noticed how they just went lower and lower and lower, and now he's sort of not much better than us.
Oh, he's worse than us.
Well, so
No offense, Luke. No offense, but Luke can only pull in like 20 live viewers on YouTube.
So, do you think Luke is guilty of self-sabotaging?
I notice how you've deflected and moved this onto a question of Luke rather than yourself
Okay,
now.
well,
That was
you can
quite
say,
smart. Yeah.
no, you're very welcome to bring it back to how I allegedly self-sabotaged. Now, how do you think I did that?
I think, from my memory, which is vague now, I've been punched in the head a lot since then, is that you began to, as soon as you got successful, you began to ban and kick people off the streams, and then went back to refusing to have people on at all and just doing your monologue shows, which basically drove all the audience that you'd built up for the live guest, multi-panel guest shit shows off. You basically believed that you were better than
the two.
You believed you were better than
the
the shit shows.
I did a combination of the two, and I had long streams when I had the time and energy to have long party streams, but obviously you can't. I mean, those were the most popular ones, where it's all related. The number of viewers you get will increase with the length of time you stream, and it's kind of comforting, I suppose, to think that there is a correlation in that. And then suddenly people just go, and I think it is due to the suppression of YouTube, in that they shadow ban you, that you don't show up in the search. They're quite strict about it. You can't say certain words now.
Well, that's a conspiracy theory. You've always had these conspiracy theories.
No, I think what Jay is saying is that I didn't want to stream with him anymore. I think that is really what he's getting at.
No,
and
no,
he's popping up
no,
because I'm streaming with you and not with him.
No, I
I
don't
think
think
that's
that's
what he's
anything to do.
concerned about.
No, I don't think so. Like, I've never intervened in your and Jay's personal relationship.
He's a very jealous man. And obviously he's angry.
Come off it, Jay's
he's
not
angry
jealous
that,
of
that he's not
that I'm
streaming with me
streaming.
anymore.
No, he's not. I think what we see here on the table is the plain and honest truth. His concern is that the streams continue, so that we keep doing this and we don't sabotage it. Okay, because we're onto a good thing. We're doing some good stuff, Claire. Particularly this show, which is just a relaxed show, you and me just kicking back, relaxing, shooting some b-ball outside of the pool. It's okay. It's okay. It's the bread and butter of streaming right here.
Yes. Chill
So-
out conversations.
Yeah. With a view to having an audience too, who can be involved, like to listen in, and who aren't just going to get lectured at with one particular ideology. Okay. Because you'll notice that I am careful to keep your secularism in a cage of about 5 or 10%. Are you?
No, I don't
Keep it-
really need to
keep it
go on
muzzled.
about it at length because people already know about it.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I don't particularly want to go on about it, and it always pleases me when people mention it before I do.
Well, isn't it? It just happened right here. You can cross it off your bingo card.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think Jay's making a good point. He says that you began to overpromote Islam, relishing in the hatred that she'd garnered. So
Oh,
I think
yes.
my tactic of keeping Claire's disgusting ideology in a muzzle for the majority of these streams hopefully should that's kind of the plan, basically. That's kind of the plan.
Yes,
to how
yes,
we can
I do realise you have to pander to your Islamophobic audience who will get bored with any prolonged discussion about theology and politics.
They just
And I accept that. I submit to that.
good. I've got myself
They
a
are, these
submissive
dead
woman.
morons.
Finally, it's happened. So anyway, did you have anything to talk about before we come to what
The
went
main
on this
feature.
week?
Well, I was talking about Vincent, and I think we're kind of getting to a breakthrough, really, as far as Vincent is concerned.
In what way?
Because he's complaining. He's complaining that he's had to look up Islamic theology and Jewish theology but he's looking it up anyway. He's doing a bit of research. He's asking obvious questions, and so I think that's better than researching cults, which I think lead nowhere, and just show you as being a bit off with the fairies, really.
Look, Vincent is a crazy guy. In some way, I said to somebody the other day, in some way, I can put up with Vincent much more than I can others, actually, because at least he's open about it, as disgusting and unhinged as his views may be. Okay, and his lifestyle is, objectively, he's not subversive.
Yes, I think Vincent has
he's not
intellectual
subversive
honesty.
about it. He's not subversive about it. He's in your face about it, and I can kind of deal with that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's just letting it all hang out and is open about it. I can handle that.
Yeah, I mean, and when he doesn't know, he says he doesn't know. And yes, I do admire his intellectual honesty. He will actually say he doesn't know when he doesn't know, which is a start.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. Vincent's a weirdo. If anybody doesn't know who we're talking about Vincent Bruno,
who has a
gay
channel,
supremacist,
and he wants to abolish women.
Wants to rid the world of women, literally, and start having butt babies, bred in like birthing chambers or something, and populate the earth with 100% men.
Whom he thinks is, he's saying men are he thinks gay men are morally superior to straight men. I mean, I don't know how he can prove it or on what basis he argues it.
Yeah, or how he even comes to that conclusion at all. I mean, obviously it's just insanity based upon his own subjective self. Like, I am a homosexual, and therefore, wow, look at me. What I think is right. Therefore, I wish to coat the entire world with a lick of its paint, basically, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he refuses to acknowledge that being gay is a sexual offence, and I guess to be fair to him, the law doesn't acknowledge. He doesn't treat sodomy as a sexual offence, but all the old religions, the 5 world religions, would treat sodomites as sex offenders. And therefore, if you are prepared to go along with this, then you will say that, your country should not be governed by sex offenders. So, confirmed that bachelors who are known to be gay should not ever become the leader of your country. But I mean, tell that to the Irish Republic,
Yeah, well, I'm
who were
not
the
sure
first
that
to
we.
have a gay, non-white
Mm.
prime minister, president, whatever.
Yeah, well, look, just to be absolutely clear, here in the United Kingdom, we're not able to make such wide-scale condemnations of gay people, unfortunately. Say, I'll refrain from doing that to some extent. I will just leave it there. I don't exactly know what I'm allowed to say about that or not, but I'm allowed to criticize Vincent's personal hedonistic 15-man gangbang lifestyle. Okay, I think I'm allowed to have a personal opinion about his individual lifestyle choices, which he wishes to project upon the world.
Oh, he's complaining he's not getting any. That's what he's complaining about. Not that he's
Good. Good. A dry spell would maybe what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, because he's saying that he's not allowed to bring men back to his husband's home, but then the men he wants to have sex with
Oh my God.
are either married or in a long term, or shacked up with some woman
What
or
the
man, and he can't do it. He can't do it in their
Yeah.
homes either, and that's what he's whinging about. But actually, if they have love hotels, then they could.
Oh my God.
It's a very simple. You've heard of them, haven't you? Love hotels.
Ugh. No, I haven't actually. Thanks.
Well, it's basically a hotel where you rent a room by the hour.
Oh, right. Well, is this some kind of Asian thing?
It's a Filipino thing, I seem to remember. I'll
Sounds
look
like
it up for
yeah.
you.
Well, no, you're okay. I don't need to know about love hotels.
They would be operating in red light districts that I have in mind. A love
You have
hotel is
such
a
a
type of
wonderful.
short stay hotel around the world operated primarily for the purpose of allowing guests privacy for sex. It actually is in
Amazing.
Japan, in Osaka.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a Japanese idea.
Yeah. Japan is like a paradox of both the most degenerate and traditional kinds of society melded in one, which is weird, isn't it? In many ways, the Japanese people are very socially reserved, but yet the underbelly of Japanese society has some real degenerate aspects to it, particularly around sex.
Yes, so there's a love hotel in Tokyo, and it has a European castle motif, so it looks like a European castle. It's quite funny, I thought.
Well, disgusting. So yeah, let's move on then. So that's Claire's news for the week. Very exciting. She's basically 50 hours of streaming with Vincent, trying to turn him into
A secular Quranist, America's
secular
first gay
Quranist.
secular Quranist.
which would be just a wonderful addition to the world. But thankfully, he's still not having it. And he's on the lookout for just more degeneracy, basically. So that's Claire's update. So, Claire, this week then, something happened to me that got me thinking about various things. So, I never told anybody, but when was it? Was it Tuesday? Just looking at my calendar. Whenever I had my hair cut. Yeah, on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I went for my Richard Spencer haircut. and
Let's
I just
see.
got back. What?
Let's see.
No, I'm not showing it. I'm not showing it. Everybody thinks I have the haircut in the picture here, but that picture's just the universal zoomer, okay? That's not me. I don't have this bird nest haircut. The broccoli top. So, I just have a Richard Spencer haircut, as I call it, a bit of a military cut. Anyway, I went for that on Tuesday about 2 o'clock, and when I got back, I'd only been home about 5 minutes, and my neighbour, who is 91 years old, who lives with her husband, she can barely walk. She walks with one of those frames on wheels. It's like one of the ones that people take out and about with them. It's got like two grippy handles on for brakes, and so they walk around with it. She came trundling down my driveway and knocked on the door, and her husband had collapsed in the house. So she also has a bit of dementia, so it's difficult to
dear.
understand what she was saying at first. But I twigged soon enough, and so I said, "All right, I'll head straight round, basically. Follow me, basically." But so I just ran round there into her house, up the steps, and in his bedroom. So it's a similar house like mine, small house, with very small bedrooms. And when you have a double bed in one of the rooms, and some fitted wardrobes, there's very little floor space left. And he was crumpled, like at the side of the bed, head face down, like nose in the carpet, and like his arms all crumpled around, and bum up. He'd kind of peed himself. He'd been sick. One of it. He's also around 89 years old. And he also, by the way, weighs more than me. So, I mean, so immediately I phoned an ambulance, but I had to get him up first. He just could not leave him in the position that he was.
You
Basically,
had to
head down.
turn him over, didn't you? Because he
I had to
was
get
in a
it.
prone position. You
Yeah, he
wanted
was face
him
down in the
supine.
carpet. Face down in the carpet, crumpled between the bed and like the fitted wardrobe. So you can imagine there's just a small walk space between the side of the bed, a fitted wardrobe, and a desk and everything. And he's crumpled face down in the corner at the side of the bed, with like his arms splayed up behind him and his bum in the air. And so I just had to arms under him, arms under, lift him up. He was so heavy.
You actually
I'm gonna
lifted him
guess
up rather than turned him over.
that there's no place. You couldn't turn him over in the space, if you get me. So
I suppose you could
this
have
is
dragged
what
him out and then turned him over.
there's only, say, if you think about it, there's a fitted wardrobe on the wall. Then there's about a 2-foot walk space, and then the bed. And he was in that walk space. So, look, I arms under him, lifted him up. Damien, you twat, dude. Damien says, then SJJ's trousers. Oh my god, dude. When you hear the rest of this story, you're going to regret that, you twat. Anyway, yeah, poor Sword says living the dreams in the moment. So I got arms under him, lifted him up. incredibly heavy. And onto the bed. He's is basically somewhat conscious, but completely delirious. He's been sick all down his front. And so I think it probably took about 5 or 6 minutes for me to get him onto the bed. Or 7 minutes or 8 minutes, something like that. And I wasn't sure what the right thing to do at this point was, whether to, at which point do I pause and phone the ambulance?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I learned at St. John's Ambulance. There is a method of flipping somebody over. I've forgotten because it was years ago that I did it.
Yeah, there was no good way to get him out of this
It's
crumpled
narrow.
heap. Yeah,
Yes.
crumpled heap. We'll get to that, Dead Star. Is this a CPR story? We're getting there. We're getting there. So get him up on the bed. This is so hard, by the way. If you've ever had to lift somebody up, I mean, I've done it a few times. By the way, it's not the first time I've had to do something like this. But also on a spongy bed, it's even hard. It's even harder than just to like get somebody onto a hard surface. And so I had to like climb onto the bed with my feet and like drive him up, and so I'm like going 1, 2, 3, come on, Frank, come on, dude, get you up here, we're gonna get you up here, dude, come on, Frank, heave, and then going on like this and lifting him up, got him onto the bed, dragged him into the middle of the bed, pulled him back up to the headboard, moved his feet around, whipped his false teeth out of his mouth, which he was gargling on, going, slapped his face a bit.
Oh dear.
and no, because I needed him to like see if he's all right. Took his pulse. Took his pulse. He starts coming round a little bit, and the first things he's saying is he's not got any teeth in, by the way, by now. I want to like, what? Worked out what he's trying to say is he wants to go to the toilet. But anyway, so look, I phoned 999 at that point. As soon as I got him up to the bed, they said, now when you phone, they tell you that you might need to go and get the defibrillator, because we have defibrillators all around in the UK. Now, are you aware of this?
No. I mean, where does one get a defibrillator?
So now defibrillators are located. They've attempted to equip them at public buildings. They'll be on the outside of a building in all locations around the UK. And so everybody's supposed to be like within a couple of minutes of a defibrillator by now. And when you phone up, they tell you where your nearest defibrillator is. And that you will need a code for it. Yeah, they have a national defibrillator network. So I actually knew where it was. For me to go, it would be about... to run, I could probably get there in 3 minutes or in the car. Probably actually the same amount of time. And then back. I said, he has a pulse. He's breathing. He's even mumbling. I don't think we'll need it. Just get an ambulance here pretty fast. So the question was earlier, how long does it take for an ambulance to come? These comments in the chat, by the way, here. Oh my God, you guys. Then SJJ's finger slipped and entered somewhere it shouldn't have, says Rock Muncher. Oh my god. I'm
They're so
clipping
sick, aren't they?
those weird sex noises that SJJ made right now. Oh my god. Anyway, so somebody asked, how quick did the emergency services show up in the UK? From when I called, I think they were here in 10 minutes. The initial one in 10 minutes. So, yeah. So anyway, that's the story. I stayed with him until the ambulance arrived. In the meantime, his wife had come trundling round, by the way, so it takes her a long time to follow up. She arrived and got up the stairs on her stair lift. She did not understand the seriousness of the situation, so she's like asking me to do menial tasks for her whilst I'm there, like, you know, trying to keep her husband conscious and alive. So, like, you know,
What was she asking you to do?
if I could make her a cup of tea, make her like a ham sandwich. She also got this cushion, like, so she comes and sits on the side of the bed. Her husband is basically, you know, drifting in and out of consciousness. It's only me that's keeping him like somewhat awake by constantly, like, I'm getting his hands and doing like the stroke test, which is grip me in this hand, Frank. Come on, grip me in the other one. Come on, keep talking to me, Frank. And can you wink one eye, Frank? Can you wink? Can you wink the other one? And which is the stroke test and stuff. Whilst I'm doing this, she's getting like a cushion and bringing me this cushion and opening up a cushion and saying, "Look here, I stitched this, and can you see here all the stitchings coming out of it here?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah, lovely." And
So she's obviously suffering from dementia and not aware of the gravity of the situation.
yes, exactly. And just putting herself in the way. Okay, so she also then she trundles off to the toilet, and then so I have to go and interrupt her while she's on the toilet to get what was it? I needed some. I can't remember now. I needed the situation. Anyway, banging on the toilet door for something. Oh yeah, that was it. The stair lift is at the top of the stairs, okay? So she gets off the stair lift. I know that the ambulance people are coming. They need to get up the stairs. So we need this stair lift moved. I couldn't operate it for the life of me. I tried sitting in it and like trying to figure out all the buttons. I can't get it to even move. I can't see how you fold
You're
it up.
testing the stair lift, were you?
Yes, I'm banging on the door, going, we need to get this stair lift moved. We're going to have an ambulance crew coming up the stairs whilst going back in the other room and seeing if Frank's okay.
So Frank was in a two-story on the first floor.
Yeah, up the steps, just a house like mine, in the bedroom. But
An awkward place.
their house has been modified for old people, so it's as one of these bulky stair lifts that takes up most of the stairs. And then they have all kinds of fitted furniture that just makes it so much smaller and more cluttered. You couldn't swing a cat in the place at all. Even at the top of the stairs, there's like cabinets and things. God knows how they get around it. Yeah, probably so. Yeah, probably hoarders, I'd say. So yeah. Anyway, she finally comes out of the toilet, and I explained to her, we need to move this stair lift. You what? we need to move this stair lift now. Get yourself, as he said, get yourself downstairs. Go downstairs on it, send it to the bottom. So she sends it, she goes, and watch for the ambulance coming. So she sets off down the stairs. I go back in, seeing if Frank's okay. I'm trying to look out the window. The ambulance still isn't here yet.
She goes
Next thing
down the stair lift in the.
Yes, she's.
He uses the stair lift to go down the stairs.
Yes.
Right.
So she sets off. I wait to send her, make sure she's heading off back down the stairs to the bottom. And tell her to wait down there for the ambulance people to arrive. Thought that's the best way. Out of the way. So I'm upstairs with Frank again, seeing if he's okay. Grab my hands, Frank. Come on, stay with me, dude. Stay with me, dude. Come on, you're gonna be okay. Next thing I know, she's coming back up the top of the stairs, isn't she, on the bloody stair lift here with some like chicken sandwich or something, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on here? But yeah, eventually they turn up. They get there. The ambulance people that turn up is one small guy and a little lady who's about probably in her 60s.
Can't get the staff these days.
Yeah. So immediately they realise, they put the blood pressure on him. His blood pressure is very low. They realise he is going to have to go immediately to hospital, so they have to call another ambulance crew. So about another 10 minutes, another ambulance crew arrived, and that one had 3 dudes in it, 3 guys in it. So altogether ended up with 5 ambulance people up there. Because you have to think, I don't think people ever realise until it happens how hard it is to get just, a completely limp human being like down the stairs and out of a house. So
Yes, firemen are to be admired because they're supposed to be able to carry,
absolutely.
a body over their shoulders and go up and down ladders.
Absolutely, yeah. Anyway, they come with like a specialist trolley that it like walks downstairs with somebody in it seated. So they bring this.
I thought they would just sort of, put him on the stair lift and use the stair lift to take him down to make it easier for themselves.
No. So they bring like what is like a stretcher come chair, like a chair type stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't exactly know how they got him into it because there were 5 of them, okay? And I said, look guys, I'll step out of the room and let you get him in, okay? You couldn't swing a cat in that bedroom, but somehow they heaved him off that bed into this thing, and then you can walk that thing downstairs, basically.
So what? Sorry, you saying they walked him downstairs?
It has like some kind of like, if you like on a tank that has tracks on it. It has
What, a
like tracks
turret?
on it.
Oh,
No,
yes.
tracks, so that you can, they're holding onto it, but pushing the thing, it just walks down steps.
Oh.
Like it rides over steps, treads, with somebody seated in it, so they can bring somebody down. And anyway, so they can get them out of the house and into the ambulance, and caterpillar treads. That's right, yeah. So anyway,
Stretcher chair. It's a stretcher chair. Is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you slide down like on a sled, So yeah, they got him out. Said his blood pressure was low and everything. And off to ambulance he was. He went. And then, unfortunately, yesterday, I discovered in the morning that he had died.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, so
Yes. Have you seen his wife, his widow?
I haven't since.
Hmm.
There's been lots of family coming.
Okay, well, she's not on her
So
own then. Good.
no, I only found out yesterday afternoon. When was it? I messaged you. I found out basically the hour before. So that was
2 days ago,
probably
I would say.
No, it was yesterday. I messaged you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yesterday. That's when I found out, and he died that morning.
Hmm.
And
Do you know
apparently
what the
died.
cause of death was?
He went into liver failure, and they said he had pneumonia. This is according to. I spoke because when I came back home, I phoned. I have the telephone number. They have daughters, okay, because they're elderly, and I'm a contact. I have their number to give them a call. Occasionally, I've had to call them for different things. So I called one of the daughters, and so she messaged me back. This is only how I'd found out. Yeah, so apparently he had pneumonia and went into liver failure and then died quite.
Died
So
in
if he died
hospital.
died Thursday morning,
Mhm.
this happened Tuesday afternoon. So he'd made it through 2 nights, I suppose, but you know.
Mhm. Mm.
Oh my God, one of his last
Well,
memories will be
you'll
you
be at his
slapping
funeral, I
his
suppose.
face. Yeah, I'll go along, probably.
Mhm.
One of his last memories will be you slapping his face and refusing to make his wife a cup of tea and a ham sandwich. That's right. What a
Yes, that's
miserable
quite funny.
fucking story. Rip Frank, yeah. Ugh. So, yeah. Yeah, so this got me thinking anyway about death. It's not really the story for a Friday night, I suppose. But yeah.
Well,
You did what you
we
could,
we
said
can't
the
help
internationalist.
when we're going or how we go,
Yeah.
can we? We can only maybe have a bit of input in how we lead our lives. That's the best we can do. And
Yeah.
you know, maybe if we eat healthily and take enough exercise, we might be around for a bit longer.
Yeah. Have you ever had mortal dread, Claire, where you realise, did you ever have this, where you suddenly realise that your life is finite and it fills you with mortal dread?
I think I have to. Well, I guess. Okay, once or twice, there was a time when I thought I was about to die, and I suppose once you get over that, maybe you don't quite fear death so much. You know, when you really think, "Oh my God, this is it,"
So
and
what
you live
happened to you?
through.
What happened to you?
It was just a dream. I mean, on both occasions it was a dream, but I did dream that I was about to
Okay.
die. You know, but you might say, "Oh, it's just a dream," but of course at the time you didn't know it was a dream, so the terror was real.
Yeah, okay. You've never So in real life, you've apart from dreaming, you've
Uh,
never been so sick or ill or injured that you feared you might die.
well, I don't know. I think all of us have kind of nearly been run over, haven't we?
Sure, yeah.
And
We've
it's
all
sort of, angry, people waving motorists waving their fists at you and that kind of thing. I remember when I was in Amsterdam and, just stupidly, being, used to looking right and left and right again. I wasn't looking. And then I realized that there was this angry tram driver looking down at me angrily
you
because
sort of
I
face
walked
like
into,
his
up
looking
to an
down at you.
oncoming tram in Amsterdam. And then later I realized that these trams were called Whispering Death. So other people were not
Oh,
so lucky because they're so silent that most people don't hear them, and stupid British tourists just don't look left and right and left again because they look right and left and right again, or they don't even look maybe.
yeah.
So I mean, there's a horrible sense of humiliation. It's like, oh yes, yes, I was being stupid, wasn't I? Yes, sorry about that, not for not looking, you know, and that sort. But I mean, that's kind of after the event, right? It's not like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die now in the next second or so, that
Yeah,
because it was an after the event thing. But you still feel, very stupid.
yes. That's different to like the existential recognition that you are going to die. It's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. And
Well, I mean, I guess what you're kind of saying is, I would like to do a few things. I mean, they even call it a bucket list, right? Things I'd like to do, places I'd like to visit before I kick the bucket, which presumably is where the expression came from, the bucket list. Things I'd like to do before I kick the bucket.
do you have a bucket list, Claire?
I just want to propagate. No, I just want a proper response from white people about secular Quranism.
Oh
That's
my
all.
God.
Really, really. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just as
You
kind
don't
of
want to do a
process
bungee
that.
jump. You don't want to do a
No,
bungee jump or jump from an aeroplane or
I used to think I wanted to jump off an aeroplane with a parachute, of course, and then I thought,
with a
actually,
parachute.
not really.
Oh,
Not really. I would actually like these old ideas. It's like, what is it? I think in old movies, people get sent a telegram, and the delivery boy is instructed to wait to get the response to the telegram. In old old movies, obviously.
mm.
So it's kind of I'm just sort of saying, yes, I'm delivering the message and I'm waiting for a response. So I guess that's
Okay.
my purpose in life, really.
You are
And
particularly driven in a way that I've rarely ever seen anybody. I mean, people slate you up and down, but what nobody can take away or deny is that you are so. It is truly. We laugh about it and call it autism, but it really is like this autistic drive to do this one thing that you've come up with, no matter how much people hate it. And you wake up every day with this bee in your bonnet, don't you, Claire? And it's never been removed.
well, the thing is, because of the reaction of people, I'm just more and more convinced that I'm right. That is, it's not like, oh, they're ignoring me because it's like they're ignoring me because they're neurotic and they can't face the truth about themselves, and all I have to do is keep pushing until the whole house of cards of their beliefs fall down.
So,
And
so the
also I
more
notice a range
people,
of neurotic behavior. It's like Pebble Muncher. who actually,
Yes.
he says he's ordered the book, he's read the book, but he
Yes.
can't find a single sentence in it that he wants to quarrel with me about. So he's just, going to talk about other stuff.
Shocking, isn't it? Shocking, really. Do you think he can't read, Claire? Is that what the problem might be?
Well, the thing is, I have this um well, I've known him. Okay, I know him from the BNP, basically. So it's like I can't. I mean, I can't even say, oh, perhaps I would. I shouldn't pester people who are not interested in politics. It's like, well, we met through the party, so you're supposed to be interested in these things. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let it go because you're supposed to be interested in these things. And so it's like, yes, thank you for the list of typographical errors that you gave to me, all of which are noted and will be corrected in the next edition. But do you have any citation from the book that you'd like to draw to my attention as being, somehow untrue or somehow illogical? And it's sort of, yes and no. And I think that's completely neurotic. And then one of the things is like, apparently I use tricks of argumentation that are unfair. And I thought, well, what have we argued about? And he said, no, it's not the arguments, it's the way you argue. I said, okay, so what how is my argumentation incorrect or unfair or fraudulent or whatever it is? And and then it becomes, oh, I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
Yeah.
So I basically said, well, if you want to accuse somebody, I mean, I'm legally trained, so I know these things. If you want to accuse somebody of murder, you have to say whom they're supposed to murder. If you want to accuse them of having committed stolen something, you have to say what they have stolen. You can't just say you're a thief and a murderer and not supply further and better particulars. And it's sort of, but I can't remember the tricks of argumentation. And then then the other thing I did was like, okay, let's pretend we're arguing about whether the sun goes around the earth or the earth goes around the sun. And then, anyway, complete lag. Just nothing. Oh yes, I read your book again. It's very good. And then oh yes. So you agree, and then I'm sure it'll be no, I don't agree, and he can't be bothered to argue about it. So
Yes. Okay.
so like I spoke to my mother again today. I mean, I guess she's quite patient. And
How old is your mum? Do you remind it? Do you want to say or not? You don't have to say.
Yeah, because that's a kind of indication. Okay, she's no spring chicken, and neither am I.
Okay.
But anyway, she kind of gets.
Is
what
she
I'm
in
trying
good
to say.
health? Is she in good health, Claire?
Yes. Fingers crossed, and putting it on my head and touching my table. So she's got
Very superstitious.
Well, I do like having my mother to explain my ideas too, and obviously she's very skeptical and say things like, "Oh, we don't talk about these things in polite society,"
Just a minute. I could actually hear you doing the touching your head or touching the table there. So you do that, don't you? You believe that in superstition of some kind, don't you?
Well, I mean, my desk.
That's interesting to me. That's
desk
interesting.
It's what's it called? MDX? Is that word? I think so. So it's not.
What does that mean?
It's some kind of chipboard thing that you squish together to make into.
Oh, MDF, the wood. Yes, the
MDF,
wood is called.
yes.
Yeah, medium density fiber board. Yes.
That's right. But I suppose I'm grateful to her in that.
But you're touching it. You're touching it, meaning that you believe in some kind of supernatural forces of some kind.
It's because of my mother that I go out of my way to do these superstitious things. maybe if I'm not talking about her, I wouldn't be doing these things. But anyway, well, sometimes I do. If you think, this thing that I'm contemplating, I do hope it doesn't happen. So I guess for me, I may have mentioned, I think I did mention to Luke when he asked me that, and I said my mother thinks I'm a bit of a crank, and because I do, I
Bit.
mean, I am now this year going to go out of my way to be, well, even more confrontational than I have been before, because I think time is not on my side.
Mm.
And
So
also people are just
you're
saying
saying
wrong.
you're saying you do see the more. Are you referring to your own mortality? You
Of course, I mean,
recognize your own mortality. You have only so long left in which to accomplish your autistic mission. Yeah.
yes, and also my mother's mortality. And
Oh
obviously she
yes.
thinks I'm a crank. I would like to prove her wrong. She sort of
Okay.
understands what I'm saying. And, if I do succeed, I would like
That's
her
natural.
to be around to notice it, to know it.
It's natural to want to prove yourself to your parents. Absolutely.
And thank goodness she understands what I'm saying. Although, something in her says, people don't care about these things, and all governments are corrupt, and one person can't change anything, and blah, blah, blah. And then she says, people don't talk about these things. And it's like, yes, it is true that people don't talk about things. But the key is to get people to talk about these things. Because what I propose is not well, it's going to be peaceful and legal because I don't have an army, right? So the only way to make anybody listen is for the forces of evil to know that they are in the minority. Right now, they think they are in the majority because people are too afraid to talk about these things, even within their own families. And this is one of the things that I do want to go on about. There's obviously a communication problem.
Is your
And people don't want to talk about these things because they don't want to argue with their friends or family. I understand.
is your mum a practicing Tao Buddhist, or does she just like an agnostic, not lost the way type?
I don't even know. I mean, she practices the traditions. So whatever she will do it, and like Chinese ancestor worship, and the few special days when you tidy, you sweep the tomb and all that sort of thing, and she keeps saying, all the things that you keep saying that we do, well, we no longer do it. All the the month of the hungry ghost that you go on about, which is in the summer, well, we no longer do it because you've been to Thailand. Maybe you are in some way aware of this idea that there is a spring festival where you sweep the tomb of your ancestors and your departed members of the family, and then that's what the festival. It's kind of like heaven. Everybody does it. Everybody thinks it's a thing to do, and it's spring and it's fun, and the children they come along and they. But the other bit of it, which actually the Chinese government has abolished, is the month of the hungry ghost, which is in the summer, which is in the 7th lunar calendar. So it's always around July, and that's when they have all the shows, and that's supposed to be appeasing the hungry ghosts, and this and in China, the Chinese belief system is that when you're dead, you're either a hungry ghost or a worshipped ancestor.
Yes,
So
yeah, I've heard of that.
yes, but your status as worshipped ancestor can lower after you are dead. You don't always stay there, and you can turn into a hungry ghost the moment you have no sons left to administer the tomb sweeping festival in the spring. So although
Oh,
I
really?
mean nobody's going to
Oh,
be rude and
what?
stop daughters from doing it, it means that it
Well, what
only
a weird
counts if the son
religion.
does it.
What a weird idea that as soon as somebody stops sweeping the tomb, it somehow affects your status in like the netherworlds or something. That's weird, isn't it?
Well, it's not when you come to think about it, because if you think of all the religions that you've heard of, it's all about you have to marry, men and women, and you have to have children, and then you have to stay together for the sake of the children, even though you hate each other. And
Oh, yes, of
this
course.
this conception is basically to frighten Chinese parents into having lots of sons, because they're saying, yes, you may be blessed with children, but if they're all daughters, that's no good. You're going to be a hungry ghost the moment you pop your clogs. And
Hmm.
even if you have lots of sons, if your descendants don't have children or don't have male offspring, you're going to end up a hungry ghost with no one to sweep your tomb in the spring.
I could understand the part about it that you could drill in the idea that if you have no offspring on the earth, then that somehow affects your status in this afterlife or whatever.
Well, it affects your
But
status in this life.
but the autistic detail of if nobody's sweeping your tomb, that just sounds a little weird to me.
Well,
I suppose that's
the
typical
idea
Chinese.
the idea is that the son or the male offspring has to perform these rites in
Right.
order for you not to become a hungry ghost. So if you have no
Okay.
male offspring, then you become a hungry ghost. And this
Okay.
fear is supposed to frighten Chinese parents into having lots of children.
Hmm.
And the thing is, you don't even have to believe in it, because you can easily insult, some Chinese person whom only has daughters and isn't about to have a son, or somebody who isn't a parent. It's like, oh, you're you're a bachelor, you're a spinster, you're past the age of childbearing, you're not ever going to get married, so the moment you die, you're going to become a hungry ghost. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Elliot Blatt asks,
Yes,
does
that's been
hoovering
great.
count? What happens to Chinese people? I assume then they are buried when they die, that it's not cremated.
Well, yes, I mean, the idea was that you're meant to be buried in order to have this thing, but of course in Hong Kong, it's like you can't do that. There's no space, right?
Oh, right.
So, so that eventually, the Chinese started taking up the, started being cremated, because there's just no space, right?
Yeah.
And
So they don't have a tomb to sweep.
No. So I mean, so you have these sort of new rituals that, just throw me into the sea after you've cremated me. I don't want to be a burden to, people and all that.
Yes.
And one of my little ideas is an online cemetery. Would you? I think that'd be quite nice, don't you? Called Dead Book.
What? No. No.
Instead
God
of Facebook,
forbid.
we can have Dead
What an
Book.
idea.
No,
God
but it's
forbid.
great fun. I mean, imagine it's like,
God.
then instead of likes, you have, visits. So people come and visit. Oh, Dad, I miss you. Blah, 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 and then you have all these sort of
Perhaps you could make
engagements
it.
after you're dead.
You could make it so that your little page accumulates like leaves, and you could get like a little sweeping brush icon, and you have to go in every month and give it a sweep up.
But the fact is, Stephen, that all societies have a kind of, let's remember dead people day. I mean, the Mexicans have a Mexican, Day of the Dead. I mean, Halloween is from All Hallows Day, which is a Catholic thing, when they're supposed to remember all the dead people and, visit their, parents and grandparents' grave and all that
Yeah.
sort of thing. I mean, every
Can I,
culture has some kind of ritual.
can I just acknowledge Jay here is contributing to the stream here and asking, is there any chance we can get your mum on a stream? Is that ever going to be possible? Thank
I've
you,
been
Jay.
encouraging her to go on Twitter. But I don't know.
How is she with technology?
Well, she
She okay?
does play with her phone, and I've seen her
Mm.
just scrolling and scrolling on her phone. So she does play with her phone, and then she complains about her her WhatsApp messages and how annoying her friends are and how stupid their messages are.
What about ordering like from Amazon or food deliveries? Has she got into doing that at all?
No, she
That
doesn't
can be
do
quite
that sort of thing.
useful. That can be quite useful for older people.
Um, what do you mean about Amazon being useful for older people?
Well, they can't get out of the shops. They can buy anything they want on Amazon.
Oh, that.
All you have to do, just teach them how to use an
yeah.
app, the app on their phone.
I don't know how developed the service is in Malaysia. I mean, there was a time when they couldn't, get anything. But there are lots of delivery services anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sort of trying to explain to her that, she sort of, she just assumes, and I know, maybe she does it just to annoy me, but, sort of like, the Americans, they all agree about, the same thing. It's just that I know it's not true that, everybody in the West is, supporting the war in Ukraine or, supporting Biden or, it's just one of those, sweeping generalizations that my mother loves to make. That I know is not absolutely true, but she's not the only one making, these sweeping generalizations like, like Chinese people are like this and Russian people are like that and black people are like the, and Jews and Muslims are, whatever. So I guess if you think you know a bit more, it is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But really, I think what is holding my message back is people not wanting to discuss these things. Because, what I am saying is really, quite radical. Because, I mean, particularly to Westerners and even to non-Westerners, because people don't want to think like, oh, the political system we live under, well, it's wrong. The religion of my ancestors, it's wrong. And I'm sort of saying, yes, it's wrong. And of course, that's why nobody wants to listen to me. And I suppose, the reaction would be, and even if I agreed with you, what do you expect me to do about it? Yeah, I mean that is that's basically it, isn't it? What do you expect me to do about it? And what can realistically be done? And I'm saying actually there's lots you can do. There's lots you can do by
Yes.
talking about it in real life to people in the same room. So
One of the things
I
that we
don't
can
quite see
do.
that it is as hopeless as Jay Walker seems to think it is. I mean, his problem is that he won't talk about it because he doesn't want to alienate his white middle class friends.
So let me
That's
just
why he can't bring himself to
acknowledge.
talk about it.
Let me acknowledge the super chat and thank Jay Walker.
He's given you £4 now, hasn't he?
Yes, for saying, isn't an online cemetery the same as secular Quranism?
Well, people have heard of it. I mean, I was in a space and I didn't even know the person, and
Thank you,
I was
Jay.
thinking, oh dear, I have to explain everything, and some American woman popped up and explained secular Quranism to everybody in that space. So I was delighted. I didn't even know who she was, but so in a way, it
Well,
has.
exciting.
Well, it is the only solution. It's not like,
Anyway,
you know, the
anyway,
all 10 of them
we
competing
I'm
against
sure
me.
we've done your 5 or 10%. We've done 15 or 20% of secular Quranism tonight already. I did want to ask you more about, have you ever saved anybody's life, Claire? Have you ever
No,
had
I
to,
haven't done
or
it in a way that you. No, I can't think of any time
Oh,
that I did such a thing. But I did do a St. John's ambulance course in the hope that I might
okay.
be in position, but I've forgotten
When was
everything
that?
now.
Oh,
That
right,
was,
yeah.
gosh, it must have been about, well, over 10 years ago, I think.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, it was, you know, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and how
yeah,
to, you know, doing the heart thing
yeah. 30
and
compressions,
flipping
2
people
breaths.
over.
Yeah, you mean putting them in the recovery position or what?
Yes, that's it. That's what I meant.
Yeah. You move one knee, push one knee up, arm over the chest, grab them by the shoulder and the hip, and roll them over. But if yeah, interestingly for the so it's 30 chest compressions in 2 breaths. That's the current advice. I think they change it every now and again. During COVID, did you know this? They removed the advice of giving any mouth-to-mouth breaths whatsoever. And so that was removed from the protocol. So anybody who was doing life-saving, and you have to top up your certificate every 2 years, it's only just recently been put back on that you give 2 breaths. They've changed it interdimensional lizard, so they've changed it back to that you now do give the breaths again. But for that whole period during COVID and for a long period of time afterwards, anybody who was getting CPR was not getting whatever they call it, whatever the technical term for it is. Interestingly. Yeah, but I am a first aider, whatever the American equivalent is of that. Not an EMT. I think that means you have like you do that as a job. But I have to do it because I'm a lifeguard, so I have to be able to do it there. Interestingly, I've never had to pull somebody out of a pool who had drowned of any kind. So it is exceptionally rare. Touch wood.
I suppose it's not. Is there a special way of doing it?
Oh, of course, yeah. It obviously depends what's happened. I mean, if somebody's drowned, they're going to be on the bottom of the pool very quickly. This is what you don't realize. You might think that, I mean, the traditional thing is that you think people float. Well, no. When people
They
begin
float
to
only
drown,
after a day, when their body has all this gas in their stomach, right? But when they're freshly drowned, they're at the bottom, so they have to be brought up. Yes.
yes, when you will
But
get,
they
you will
won't be
sink.
that heavy for you to pull up. I would have thought.
No. Obviously, there's the buoyancy of the water. You can get them up, yeah. And you
Hmm.
train like with sacks, basically, dummies. But yeah, if you drown, you will be on the bottom of the pool within about, let's say, the deep end of a pool, within about 10 seconds. Okay, that's how quickly you'll end up on the bottom of the pool. So, yeah, we have a guest.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the stream.
Thank you for letting me on. Hello, Claire.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm well.
Good,
How are
good, good.
you?
Oh, it's Jay. It's Jay. It is actually Jay.
I'm
Yeah.
not Nigel Farage.
I have rescued someone from the sea, and when you were talking about Frank,
Yeah.
it is quite amazing how heavy a body can be when
Yes.
you're trying to pull it.
Absolutely.
I came out of the swimming hut on the beach. Remember where I used to do the videos a few years ago? And,
Yeah.
yeah, and a couple of 100 meters up, it was the waves were 4 to 6 foot. February, it was like 2 years ago, I think, and there was somebody walking into the sea. It looked like they had a suit on, or at least clothes on, and there was quite a few people around. And me and my friend, well, she realised straight away that it's a suicide or a jump, we call them. So we rushed up, and by the time we got there, this guy, and it's a bit similar to this Frank story because it's quite sad but comical. This guy had decided to end it all, but
How old was he? How old was he?
he's about 30.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But what happened was, like, he got in the sea, and I'd been swimming an hour before, and we couldn't even get out behind the waves. Like, the high waves only come for maybe 50 meters, and you get out behind them, and we couldn't even get out. So he wasn't going to be able to get out. So he walked into the sea trying to kill himself, but he couldn't get out. Like, beyond the waves.
Yeah,
right?
not his day.
No. Right. But imagine the horror.
So the
that
waves
he-
kept driving him back to the shore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So back then, a few people had come to watch and, like, calling the lifeguards, and I mean, a helicopter come eventually, but then he turned around and tried to get back to shore, but he couldn't get back because of the waves that were coming in, flowing back out.
Yeah. So you just kind of stuck in stasis, aren't you, for a bit?
Yeah. Now we saw this happening, and I mean, Stephen will probably know that it doesn't take that long. The water was 4 or 5 degrees, which is as cold as what the sea gets, really. And he was freezing. And by the time we got him, he was unconscious. But it was when COVID was on, and when we got there, the police had formed this like kind of chain where, like, they were arm in arm trying to like reach this man, but they weren't allowed to touch him because of COVID.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Honestly, right? So I like I kind of lost it a bit, and I would swear, I'd say, for fuck, like, just fucking get him. So I went in and got him. He was waist deep. He was unconscious, like laid in the water, and I dragged him back. And then the police weren't even going near him, and the paramedics hadn't come. But my friend, I took my dry robe, which is a really big, warm swimming coat, took that off, wrapped him up in it, and I've got this like Russian hat, like a war whatever hat, and wrapped him in that. And this guy was unconscious; he was frothing as well, and I really didn't want my good clothes wasted on him.
Yeah.
And so by this time, there's maybe a couple hundred people come around, and the police were interviewing me, like what happened and what they saw, stuff like that. But then, to my horror, the guy had been carried on a stretcher into an ambulance, right? And he had my coat on and hat. And I had a moral dilemma. Like, do I go and ask for it back, or you know, or not? So I
Absolutely,
thought,
you do. Absolutely.
I was chase the ambulance up the road, wanting my coat back, which I got, and it was just covered in like this froth that the guy had puked up, and
Oh my God.
you know, and so that was like, yeah, the good citizen act. You kind of, how could you not do that, you know? But anyway, I found out later through knowing one of the local policemen who's since retired that this was not the first time this guy's done this. And a couple of weeks later, they caught him, like similar thing, just a couple of miles down shore. But also, this policeman did say to me, like, he's a known thief, robber, whatever, scumbag. We weren't in a rush to help him out.
Oh boy, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Were you able
That's
to rescue? Did you ever use your clothes again? The ones that you
I
that you
washed them,
had?
Claire. Yeah,
And you
I got
wore
my
them
coat
again?
and hat back. I was wearing them yesterday.
Okay.
But also in when I lived in Islington in London, I was driving down these really lovely streets one day, and there was a guy in the middle of the road on his back, and he was unconscious, bright red, purple, and he must have been about 25 stone, massive tummy on him. It was middle of summer. There was a couple of people around, and one would assume he'd had a heart attack or a stroke. And I stopped and got out, and you don't know what to do. You think, well, like, yeah, I've done first aid courses and stuff like that, but it's just like, well, what do you do, you know? And as someone called 999, as someone this, that, and this man, he was an Irishman, because he come round a bit, and they got him to sit up, and he was a drinker. You could just see by looking at his face, and he looked at me, and he, like, eye to eye, and he said, leave me alone, I want to fucking die. And I looked at him and I thought, well, fair enough. And like, I don't know what it was, but I suddenly thought, like, yeah, why not? Like, you know, who am I to, like, I don't know. He seemed quite sincere with his conviction, and the two girls were trying to, like, sort of say to him, like, life's not that bad, or like, and I just thought, let him go. Like, I don't know.
It probably is that bad. Probably is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could tell he was like, you know, there wasn't much going on for him, right? But then, what surprised me was that the loads of police cars came, but the paramedics didn't come. And I know people in the chat were asking how long does it take, but there was maybe 10, 12 policemen, but no paramedics. But when the paramedics and ambulance come, which was maybe 40 minutes later, they started giving him electric shocks. And my God, I've never seen a human body like have a spasm, like a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, man, if he'd been kicked by elephants. And he died. He died on the spot, and I saw him die. But as they like said, oh, he's just gone. Like, the paramedics were like kind of talking about what they were having for the tea that night, or the football. You know, it was like really all in the day.
They're used to it.
Yeah, and I've, you know, like,
it seems really cold at the time. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so, but in them situations, it's quite easy to think, oh, I would have done that. You should have done that. But it's like many things in life. Wait till you're in that situation before you know what it's like, and it is weird. It is like being in a dream. It's really strange.
Yeah, immediately you get a dose of adrenaline, literally. Your body starts producing stuff. This also makes it difficult to remember things, because this dose of adrenaline or whatever that you get isn't known to inhibit your memories. So it's why you can't remember things well. It makes everything seem like it went twice as fast, probably, as what it did. Yeah, I think everybody should have some level of knowledge of how to save a life. I think it's very important. Maybe you don't have to go on one of these courses and spend lots of money. If you're in a job, they'll pay for it, depending on your position and stuff. Those are useful. I mean, I have to have it for what I do.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say that if I'd learned just say 10 things on how to save a life, you guarantee that you'll forget half of them with the adrenaline and the panic. I mean, if you can help. But just before I disappear, and congratulations on you both. The streams are really good. It gives me something to listen to on a Friday night if I'm in, which is great.
Thank you, Jay.
You were talking about death, and I think Claire said she had a couple of nightmares or something like that. But I've had one experience up here where I swam out, and I'm an okay swimmer, but I went out with these guys who were like literally channel swimmers, ex-special forces and stuff like that. And it was April, so it was still cold, and we went out about 75 meters past beyond the waves, and then you decide, well, what we're going to do, go this way, that way, whatever. But they were better swimmers than me, and I couldn't get out. Well, I could get out, but I couldn't get out quick enough. And after about 50 meters, I thought, I can't keep up with these. Like, it's just not happening. And it was the first time I'd been out with them. I shouldn't have gone out with them, but I think probably a bit of ego and stuff. You want to join in with the big boys. But so I turned round and I started swimming back in, and lo and behold, I couldn't get back in.
Yeah.
And I got pulled, not so much by a rip, because rips kind of come the other way, but I got pushed down towards this corner, which is well known for being like lethal. And I had like, oh man, I still suffer with the like after effects from it now. Like, I had a period of time where I was getting spun like underwater, and
Wow.
when you push your legs down, you automatically like know that it's to the bottom, but when you're getting spun, you lose sense of where the bottom is. And I realized that I got spun once, managed to get back up, and the waves, they come every 7 seconds. There's normally about 6 or 7 of them. I didn't know this at the time, but I just could not get up. And as soon as I got up, I was getting pulled under and just torn apart, like ripped round. And I had that moment. I had a moment there where I thought, this is it.
I thought this was it. Yeah.
I was certain that this was the end, and I felt all right with it. One of the thoughts that my daughter came in to my head, and also the reasons why I had to get out of London or come out of London, that crossed my mind, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been in this position. But I kind of, once I give up fighting, I kind of thought, why don't I just relax whilst I die or drown? Honestly, I mean, it's insane. And I was actually all right with it, because it's not that you haven't got a choice, but I don't know. And so I thought, why don't I just swim gently or try to? And what had happened was there was a 2-minute respite in the waves. They were still high, but I managed just to sort of stay above ground for maybe 10 seconds and then 20 seconds. And then suddenly, like, I was able to touch the bottom. So I wasn't that far out. And do you know what? What's really interesting is that there was people on the beach, and not one of them realized that I was in bother or in trouble. So when I got out, I touched the bottom, and that was like, thank God for that. Like, you know, one of them moments. But then I got on the beach and the ego kicked in again. And Claire will knows how to say that I've got a big fat ego. But I then went for a jog along the beach to try to make it look to myself and others that I wasn't in bother, that
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, hey, it's all right, you know. But I went back the following day to try to go in the sea again. I got to the top of the ramp, like the where you drive down. I could hear the sea, and I just got like this like real PTSD, like horror.
Yeah. No,
all
that'll do
through.
it to you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I still get that occasionally now, where if I'm somewhere I shouldn't be, or I've been out too long and the shoulders start to get cold, and I know I've got like 3 minutes to get in, like this panic, which is like adrenaline. It's like you've taken a load of bad speed. It's just a hideous feeling, like and yeah, it's horrible. But that's my experience of death on a Friday night. So I hope I haven't depressed people. You know, I could come on another time and chat about things like uplift and happy things like Sermon on the Mount and Jesus, you know, but maybe save that
Have you,
for another
Jay,
day.
let me ask you, have you had a cramp out at sea yet?
Yeah, I get them in my calves.
How do you bad ones, you know?
Yeah, I can do this. It's like a party trick where I can give myself cramp in either leg, my calf.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and
not good.
It
Holy
throbs.
shit.
It's like something out of one of them horrible 1980s like movies. It throbs, but the pain is immense.
Oh yeah.
The pain is like you can't describe it. And well, I did a really long lake swim last year? I think so. And there was a lot of training up in the lakes for it, and the cramps come on, but you learn to swim like you know how you stretch your leg out, point your foot.
Yeah.
I can kind of, it's not side stroke, but I can swim crawl where I'm leaning and pointing my leg, and you practice that when you haven't got cramp. Basically, you pretend you have, and you learn to do that. But it's terrible. I mean, it's not what you want to be out your depth in the sea or the pool and get cramp. I mean, you know,
absolutely not. No.
And when you panic, you sink, you go down. It's weird how
yes, you do.
That works.
Yeah. Have you never considered swimming with a trailing float?
I hate it.
You're like on a string. No, you don't like it.
I've done like long swims where they're organised and you have to wear one, but they pull.
Yes, yeah.
They pull on you, and where I live, it's really, really windy. It's the North Sea, so when you're on top of the waves, I mean, it's great, but like, and the wind's every day, the wind's strong. It pulls you, and as we say, the floats. Some I should do, but like, I mean, it sounds really terrible, but like, your mates laugh at you.
Really?
Like, boys will
say
be
you do. You just say, "Look, I'm doing my David Hasselhoff."
Yeah, I mean, but I'll tell you who's a really good swimmer is Claire. Did you know Claire's a good swimmer?
I did not know. Interesting.
You do a mean breaststroke, don't you?
Breaststroke, is it?
Yeah.
That's called the crawl. No,
No,
the crawl is
overhand.
style. Yeah, I can't do the butterfly, but in practice, if I swim, I would just do the
breaststroke is hands out in front of you and pull outwards.
Yeah. I mean, the frog is in practice what most people do when they're just taking it easy.
I went.
I've done a diving course and everything, so I think you have to be okay at swimming.
Good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's good to learn to swim.
no, it's on that note. I'm going to head off, but congratulations on the stream. And Vincent can replace me.
Hi.
Hi, Vincent.
Bye,
Speak to you later.
Vincent.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming,
Bye.
Jay. Interesting
Stephen.
story. See you. Well, hello, Vincent Bruno.
Hello.
Have you ever saved a life, Vincent?
I don't think so, no.
I'm trying
Have
to
you
save
ever?
Western civilization.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
secular Quranism. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
What were you talking about so I can not interrupt with my own interest? What were you guys talking about?
About saving lives, because Stevens sort of saved his neighbor's life when he collapsed in his house, and his wife, now widow, came to ask him to help. And
So no, why is this why is this a topic of discussion? What's the point of this?
oh, then we thought we might talk about death.
Yeah, well, it's something that, I mean, it happened this week. It was a thing that happened, so I just thought it was worth talking about. It's something different. Have you ever felt that you were going to die, Vincent? Like, been seriously
Yes.
ill?
In a
Oh, have
very
you?
interesting, actually, yes.
Tell us about it.
I think I have one of the most interesting thought I was dying stories in world history. So I went out. I was going to go on vacation to Las Vegas. So the night before I'm going on vacation to Las Vegas, I get a sandwich. And the next morning I wake up with food poisoning, and I'm really ill from food poisoning. But I decide that I'm going to go on with the trip anyway, and I'm just getting on the plane, and I'll just have to deal with my food poisoning. So we're on our way to Las Vegas, and then we had to stop in Colorado in order to make a transfer. And I was in such pain, and I could no longer walk, and it had gone to the feeling that I knew it was my appendix, and I knew I had appendicitis. And so I was rushed from the hospital, and I was brought to the place, and I was what was I saying? Rushed to the hospital. So they were going to do surgery on me, and they put me under. And so what happened? So they put me under, and I black out. So I wake up, and I can't move, and I can't breathe, and I feel myself slowly dying. And so
wait, you woke up during the surgery? Is that
no?
that
This
right?
is after the surgery.
Oh, okay.
I woke up, could not move, could not breathe, was paralyzed, and just felt like I was dying. And so I, in my mind, died. I actually passed out. I didn't know I had passed out, but I thought I was like, because I remember I was sitting there, and so I'm slowly, what I think I am is dying, and I'll explain what was really going on. And I just said to myself, I remember saying to myself, I said, oh God, the surgery went bad. Something happened, and this is the end of me. Goodbye. And you know what? I'm really happy that this happened to me, because I was so peaceful. I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, I wasn't worried about hell or heaven, or I really accepted it really, really well. And I truly, truly, truly thought I was dying. So this is what was actually happening to me. So they brought me in to do the appendix. Now, when they go to do surgery on you, they need to put a tube down your throat. So, because they're paralyzing you or whatever. And the ventilator needs to go down into your lungs. So, but they knock you out, but you need to be paralyzed, because if they're shoving the ventilator down your throat, you're going to start gagging. So they have to paralyze you very temporarily with something called, they have many different drugs, but on me, they use something called succinylcholine. So they paralyzed me with succinylcholine. They put the ventilator in, and it's supposed to wear off in a few minutes. Well, it turns out, after learning this, I actually have a genetic I have a genetic recessive where I do not break down succinylcholine. So instead of being unparalyzed within a few minutes, I stayed paralyzed for hours and hours, and they didn't know if I would ever come out of it. So what happened was when I woke up, I was truly paralyzed by succinylcholine, and I was on a ventilator. I was not breathing. I didn't feel myself breathing, and I felt like there was no oxygen going into my lungs, but I was on a ventilator, but I couldn't feel it. I was paralyzed. All I had was consciousness, no able to movement, nothing like that. And I was on a ventilator, paralyzed, unable to move. And then I think I must have passed out from just like mental exhaustion from dealing with that situation, thinking I'm dying, feeling like I can't breathe, sure that I'm dying. And then I just passed out. And then what happened was hours later, I remember I came back to consciousness, and all of a sudden I could move, and the succinylcholine had worn off, and they ripped the ventilator out of my throat, and I could breathe and I could move. And
Wow, interesting.
yeah,
That is a bizarre story.
I'm glad that it happened, because I was like so okay with my death. I was so like, I handled it like so well. Actually, now that I'm glad that you brought this up, because that actually gives me hope, because like now I can just be like, okay, when it does that, I'm just going to be like fine with it.
Because of your
There's lots-
near-death experience, you feel more confident and stronger.
Yes, because of my near-death experience. Yes.
Oh, that's good to know. It means
In what
that
way
you
though?
can be more
Why do you feel?
courageous.
Why do you feel confident and stronger? What is? Are you just?
Well,
You
no,
don't care
I
about
just,
dying?
I don't have to take the terror out of death, and like, I guess just I know now that when I'm on my way out, I'm not going to be thinking, oh God, and my regrets, and did I do it wrong, and am I going to hell? And none of that went through my head. I just said, okay, this is it, goodbye, and then I just passed back out and thought I was dead.
And are you sure this wasn't a dream?
No, this all really happened to me. Are you serious? I had $20,000.
No, I'm just asking.
No, I had $20,000 worth of medical bills.
No, I mean the experience whilst you were under. You sure that like the waking up thing?
I was awake. I wasn't dreaming. I was awake. No, it all makes sense. I fail to believe that I had a dream that I was like paralyzed and couldn't breathe, and then I was sitting there being like, I'm dying, when it would make sense that I couldn't feel the ventilator in my throat, and so I wouldn't have been aware that I was on a ventilator. No, I don't believe I coincidentally had a dream that just so happened to match up with my physical state and biochemical state at that moment. I think I was very much awake.
But you've never actually been in danger, close to death or anything like that?
No. Unless I would have died from having to be. They didn't know if I was ever going to wake up. I mean, I wouldn't have died. It would have been on a.
It sounds pretty bad, and appendicitis is nothing minor. That's pretty serious. You can die from that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the point of an appendix is, to be honest, apart from to kill a few people.
Actually, now that we've talked about medical stuff, I want to ask you some. Okay, so obviously it's above your pay grade. Are you a medical skeptic or what?
No, not really. No. I mean, I was skeptical of like the COVID stuff, but that's just because that was so unknown at the time, and lots of people had valid questions about it. I was skeptical about, let's call it the medication that everybody had to take, but that's, I think, was rational because it was a brand new thing, untested, and was only being given on like an emergency license. And there's a long history of pharmaceutical companies screwing even fully tested products up, and there being terrible results. So I don't think it was irrational for people to like want to be want to wait and see how this thing was received by lots of people before they decided they were going to take it themselves. Why do you ask anyway?
That's just something I've been looking into, and well, I don't want to take over your show.
What do
I don't
you
know.
mean?
Well,
What is a medical skeptic? What do you mean?
Mhm.
I think bitter means somebody who wants to avoid doctors and hospitals.
Or think that there's something fundamentally off about it. Like allopathic
is.
Western medicine. Like
They
allopathic
do
Western
kill
medicine.
lots
Okay,
of people.
what?
They do kill lots of people. I mean, death, is it called iatricide? Death by medical intervention is actually the number one killer, isn't it?
Well, I mean, okay, yeah. So you have kind of more like, oh, safety, but you don't have like any kind of fundamental like principle or spirituality against modern medicine, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay, because like some people in the cube do, like, you know, like have I know, like, obviously you're not flat earth, you're not this, you're not that, but you never know when with people. And,
No, I'm not a nutter, Vincent. So what you're talking about these? You're talking about people who believe like in, I know what, just praying when you're dying or something.
me?
No, it's how the people you're saying there's people who don't believe in medical interventions, and they think probably it's all spiritual
Oh,
or something.
yes, or
Yeah,
like
I'm not that guy.
conspiracy, like viruses don't exist and shit like that.
No, I think that's all bollocks. That's all bollocks. Obviously, yeah. All those people who are in the cube. Elliot Blatt's a modern medicine minimalist. Let's get him on the show. Come on the show, Elliot. I just swallowed my Coke Zero down the wrong hole.
I saw that they put my naked pictures and my lurid chats up on YouTube. So I mean, I'm forever doxxed, but I mean, I don't really fucking care. I'm a gay man with like a fucking open lifestyle. It's not like my wife is gonna find out or anything like that. So, you know, whatever.
Not the worst ones, Vincent. Not the worst ones.
Bro, what the fuck? You know what? Good, you saw me naked. Why were you in a gay chat looking for my pics anyway?
I wasn't.
Well, who was? One of your friends
somebody
is.
in the cube. Somebody in the cube.
Well, someone.
I asked the same question, to be fair. I asked the same question. How on earth were you there to see this in the first place? But apparently there's somebody who just stalks you on the internet. He's always watching you, and it was that character who privately messaged Lewis
Who
Wayne.
stalks me? Are you serious? Or are you fucking with me?
No, there's somebody who stalks you.
No, come on, tell
Yes.
who?
David Yorkshire is shocked to hear this. David's obviously not been around.
You know what? Like, so what am I supposed to do? Do you really think that this is gonna like okay, I am embarrassed that my naked pictures and my disgusting sexual habits were thrown all over.
You are? I thought you.
Okay. Well, a little bit. I mean, okay, it's not my
You posted it.
It's not my favorite thing. Like, okay, it's not my favorite thing, but the more I think, I mean, the more, of course, when it first happened, was I a little bit ashamed? Yes, but okay, I'm also under mind control too, like everyone, even though I try to be Mr. Open Liberal, like, I still have childhood shame of like, okay, naked, lurid sex. That's not something you want people seeing in public. It's like scary to let people know about that stuff. So yeah, I did have that reservation. But of course, now the more I think about it, like the less that I really fucking care and think that it's actually funny and actually just say good. And, you want to like, it's obviously not my favorite thing, but I'm definitely going to live through this.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So
don't
your
offer
near-death
yourself.
experience, everything else
I mean,
pales into comparison.
Yes.
Pales by
Yes.
comparison, I should say.
Yes, everything fails in comparison to so my near-death experience. So, you know, good for them. But you know what? Someone in the cube trolls like really lurid gay sex chats because I don't just go into regular gay sex chats. I go into
ugh,
the vile
Jesus
ones.
Christ.
Okay.
Oh
Like
my God, dude.
if you found
Fucking hell.
me, you are like in the gutter of the gay community. Let me tell you something right now.
Ah,
Has anything come of it? I mean, did you ever meet somebody and have sex with them through these chat groups?
I'm not talking about that right now because I do
yeah,
talk to
let's
people.
not.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you know, this just is it just proves that everything is like all these right-wing men are gay. Like, what the fuck were you doing in the chat? Like, come on, like your first question isn't how did you get these pictures?
That was my first question to Lewis Wayne, actually. Yeah. They said, how on earth were you there to get them? And he says, honestly, somebody sent them to me. Honestly. So,
Do you think Lewis Wayne doesn't stalk me? I don't think it's him.
no, I don't think it's Lewis. He said who it was.
This person stalks me.
Yes, apparently
Okay.
Lewis Wayne's words were that one viewer who is always on who is always in Vincent Bruno's chat is this guy, and he's also in the cube.
Is he gay?
Don't know. I don't know.
Well, he has to be gay. How else did he fucking find it? And why? You know, okay, so he must have a negative obsession with me because it's not like he found it and was like, ooh, naked pictures of Vincent Bruno. I'm so happy. Like, he wanted to humiliate me, so he obviously dislikes me.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. To look, well, I'm gonna call it here. The only reason he would have been in a group where you're posting that explicit shit is because he's got to be a homo himself. Yeah, it never rung true. It never rung quite right with me either. He's got to be.
Yeah, well, perhaps he'll approach you and ask to have sex with you, and then you'll be happy, Vincent.
Oh my God.
Well, not after he did that. You know what I mean? Like, no, not after he did that. I would be, you know, I mean, I'm not the happiest that he did that. I don't fucking care now. Good. Go ahead. My naked pictures are out on the internet. At least I didn't show face and dick at the same time. And, you know, I just hid my face when I showed my body, and you can't tell it's me. The only ones are me in my underwear. You know, but I don't really fucking care because, you know, the thing is that I regret not doing porn when I was young. So this would have happened to me. What if I had done porn? What if my mom found them and I was like, oh God, you know, would I have regretted? I don't know. I'm not going to, you know what? Fuck whoever was in there is gay.
I've got to be honest, Vincent, when I saw those pictures, which I would never have solicited, by the way, but when Lewis Wayne forced that in front of my eyes and I saw it, I'm honestly shocked that this stuff is going on, that this is what your community gets up to. What? I mean, is this the norm? Is this the norm?
No, that's just me. That's just me.
No, but you obviously must have felt comfortable enough in the whichever group you were in to be
of course,
posting that.
It's a fucked up group. It's like a fucked up gay exposure group, but I wasn't exposing myself to be exposed like, you know, the gays in there, you know, they're called exposure FHEs.
Well, no, everybody felt that it was normal. Otherwise, you wouldn't have posted it in a group there.
Yeah, but it wasn't just any group. It wasn't like gay dating.
What are these gays up to?
It wasn't like, you know, some gay dating group. It was like a gay sex, hardcore, nasty, disgusting group.
Why do these exist?
Well, straight ones exist too. You're acting like straight people are such prudes and like never have odd, weird, gross sex. Like, that's not true.
Well,
there's plenty of weird, disgusting, straight gay porn that's fucked up. I mean, tons of it. You're acting like, oh God, like, you know, straight people never eat shit. Like, you know, like, what the fuck do you think is
Oh.
going on?
Oh my god, dude.
They do eat shit.
Right, I don't want to talk about that. This is just grossing me out now. The hairs just went up on the back of my neck.
Well, I think that
Coprophilia, it's called.
I think you're being a little bit like purposely naive.
Prudish.
Naive.
No, I'm
but
absolutely
like,
not being
like you're
naive.
putting
Like,
on a
naive on
naivete
purpose.
in order to like
No, I'm not. Absolutely not.
yeah, you're putting and like, you know, yes, and you're also putting on this like, ooh, I don't dare to talk about this subject. Like, you know, in order to kind of like, you know, just
I think
block
you've
the fact-
just been you've had it you've seen such vile porn so much that you are now just, what's the word, accustomed to it, that it's just now when you look at people with clothes on, you probably just like, I don't know what to say. This has fried my fucking brain, dude. I was honestly shocked that this is what you people are up to in groups, though. And that there would be a group on the internet where it would just be the normal thing that you'd go and post that and go, "Hey guys, what do you think about this? Here's my cock. Here's my cock out, and fucking like all this filthy, disgusting shit. Anybody up for it?"
Have you tried it yourself, or are you just contemplating it, Vincent?
Contemplating what?
This coprophilia thing.
No, I haven't done it, but I'm just saying that straight people like eating shit too.
Why? No, they don't. What the fuck, dude?
Do you want me to find like shyster porn?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But then, no, they don't. Nobody likes to eat shit. Why would you
Except
ever
for
want to eat shit?
coprophiles.
Why the fuck would you want to eat shit?
Okay. All right. So
perversion.
okay, can we get back to my stalker? Obviously, I know you're
Just a
under the
minute.
bro
Why
code.
the?
Can we
Why
talk? I want to talk about
the
my
fuck?
stalker. I know you're under the bro code, so you're not going to tell me who it is. But like, okay, does everyone now know this person's gay?
If anybody's listening from the cube who knows who it is, let me know. Vincent, I worry about the audience here. Everybody's just gonna go. I don't know what this stream's become already.
Okay,
Why
so
the
my
fuck would you
everyone's
want
gonna
to-
go.
why would you-
Okay, so
wh-
people don't want to hear about my
why-
stalker. So okay, well they want to hear me enough to like splatter my naked pictures and explicit chats
No.
all over YouTube. So they want to hear that. So why wouldn't they want to hear this? People wanted to see those naked pictures. Okay, people were interested.
No, dude. I mean,
Okay,
come
then
on,
why
we're
were they
la- we're
being
laughing.
shared?
It's
If nobody was interested,
laughing.
why has everyone seen them? Why are they on YouTube?
because it's funny.
Okay, so don't tell me that nobody's interested in my sex life and now my stalker, who might be gay, who obviously is gay. And okay, so everyone's giving him a clean off.
All right. Well, do you want to explain to us before you go, Vincent, why you want to eat shit?
So you're throwing me off?
I'm not sure how much more my audience can take this kind of stuff.
Okay, fine.
honest.
I mean, okay, Mr. Popular, I'm gonna leave, but you know, I'm the one who
No,
has
we've
my
been going
fucking-
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Okay. Yikes.
Well, there's a Wikipedia entry all about it with pictures too, I'm afraid.
Right. Look, for the record, I have not shared any Vincent's pictures. Okay. They were... If anybody doesn't know what's being talked about, Vincent Bruno was discovered to have posted a gay classified ad in a Telegram group which included like fully exposed pictures of himself and declarations that he wanted the most disgusting things that I've ever read to be done to him. And Lewis Wade, who runs the Cube, came across this. Somebody sent it to him, who must have found this in a Telegram group, and then he reposted it in the Telegram group just for shits, basically, for fun. So everybody saw it. But it was
Well,
shocking,
I guess
absolutely
I'm
shocking.
so.
And it shocks me when I'm talking to Vincent. Sorry, it shocks me when I'm talking to Vincent that he naturally assumes that I'm some kind of prude putting on a facade or I'm acting naive or something, when I just find this stuff completely out there. Completely out there.
Well, I'm glad you find it completely out there. And obviously, this is a testament of our sexual degeneracy, that almost any kind of perversion, you'll find there's a Wikipedia entry for it with pictures.
Yeah. Look, I
And
get it.
that is why
I've
secular karates need to stop this nonsense.
Oh my god.
The
Right,
thing
look.
is, vanilla sex should be back in fashion again, right? That's what we want. People getting excited because of a smile, because of a touch, because of a bit of hand-holding. We can't have all this kinky sex and perversion.
Elliot says he didn't believe homosexuality was real until age 18.
Well, men kind of feel they have to do it with people, right? They can't not just think about it. They have to actually do it in prisons and stuff. So
Oh
maybe
no,
that's
come
a
on, I'm not
peculiarity.
going
But we don't have to talk about it. Well, what I'm saying really is that because vanilla sex is so cheap, people just want, I guess, chili sex, right?
No, look, there has been a perverting of people's instincts through being accustomed to pornography, of course. So the exposure to pornography, it is well known that it makes people like gradually more and more perverse. Look, I'm struggling for the words here because it's like
Well, I
almost
think
3
my
hours in.
vanilla sex analogy is it no holes. You want people to be grateful for vanilla sex, not be saying, "Oh, on the first date I didn't get the kinky sex I wanted, so there must be something wrong with me." I mean that's how people think now, isn't it? And
No,
this has got to stop.
most guys aren't getting any. Most guys aren't getting anything. So, no. I don't think anybody's expecting, like an acrobatic, weird sex on the first date. They're assuming they're not getting it for the next year or more. This is how it is now. So it is remarkable that at the other end of the spectrum, you have people who are just so fucking perverted that they are looking for the most extreme shit imaginable.
Well, there's John Vance pretending to be or not pretending to be a tranny chaser, or just contemplating the whole thing.
Yeah, John Vance too. Weird. But I can at least
we've
kind
got
of
to stop
understand
this.
that his
Stephen, we have to
pipeline.
stop this, and perhaps together we will.
We have to stop this stream, I think. I think we've gone on far too long. My brain's
All right,
kind of
then.
dying. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll call this
How
one.
many viewers have we got?
It was it was a middling stream today. I think we hit something like 50 viewers tonight, which isn't bad. but we can.
36 watching now.
Yep. Yep.
And you got it off
Oh,
your
dear.
chest. And everybody shared their near-death experiences.
Yeah.
We can have a good old think about what we'd like to do before we die. All of us.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We'll get out of here. Maybe we'll do something else over the weekend, Claire. Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you for coming, everyone. If you wouldn't mind giving the stream a thumbs up on the way out, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, in memory of Jay's experience, let's go out to the